There's been a lot of activity in real estate headlines lately, from Florida to Manhattan and from Vegas to Bel Air. We're talking property selling for tens of millions of dollars, changes to the current state of the housing market in the United States, and a 25-year-old giving us investing advice based on his $9.4 million real estate portfolio. In today's video, we are going to run through some of the most important and the most interesting real estate related news that made headlines this past week. For anybody who's new to my channel, my name is Scott. I'm a real estate developer myself out of Arizona, so here on my channel we cover all things real estate. If you're a real estate nut like me and you want to see content like this again in the future, think about hitting the subscribe button down below because I'm posting new videos every week. The first big headline of the week is that legend Shaquille O'Neal has finally sold his Florida mansion after spending the past 3 years with 5 different real estate agents trying to sell it. This place is located at 9927 Giffen Court. The home is southwest of Orlando in an exclusive guard-gated community called Isleworth, and it's surrounded by lakes. Honestly, all of the homes in this region are pretty special, but Shaq's definitely stands out as one of the most grand. It's got this blue roof, 31,000 square feet of interior space, and it's got 700 feet of lake frontage. Flipping through some of these photos on Realtor.com, you really get a sense for how big this house really is. I mean, not only is it impressive and grand from the outside, but the interior photos just show how large all of the living spaces are, like the bedrooms, the bedroom closets, all of the bathrooms. Then the ceiling heights obviously need to be high everywhere because there's basically a giant living there. The kitchen and dining room are beautifully finished and pretty insane, and then you've got the gym and the basketball court. Basically, the entire house is over the top. Shaq originally listed this house for sale in May of 2018 for $28 million. And after dropping the price several times over the past 3.5 years, he finally sold it this past week for $11 million. This just goes to show that even though the housing market is really strong in most markets right now, sometimes it's just really tough to sell these trophy properties because they were built specifically with one person in mind and they don't cater to a really large pool of buyers. Shaq probably did okay on this one financially though. I mean, not that he really needs the money, but public records show he only paid $3.95 million for the house back in 1993. So even if he put millions of dollars into renovations, he still walked away ahead on this real estate deal. Speaking of the housing market being strong in almost all markets, that story might be changing going forward because according to a CoreLogic report, growth in new home sales this year in August were flat compared to the previous month. Now, sometimes I get a chuckle out of these headlines, to be honest, because a lot of these major news outlets will do anything they can to make a dramatic title that will get clicks. And this might be a case of just that when you see what CNBC posted this past week where they said, home prices in August hinted at possible cooling in the market. See, there's this reporting called the S&P CoreLogic Case-Shiller Home Price Indices, which is a leading measure on U.S. residential real estate prices, tracking where the real estate prices have been and where they're going. One thing that this report tracks is the increase in home prices year over year in any given month. Well, in August of 2021, CoreLogic reported that home prices in the U.S. have increased by 19.8% from August of 2020. First of all, that is absolutely insane growth. That means that if you bought a house just 1 year ago in August of 2020 for $400,000, that it would be worth almost $80,000 more today. But anyways, the reason that some analysts are looking at this as a sign of the housing market cooling is because this is the first time in a long time that we haven't seen the annual gain increase month over month. No matter what way you spin it though, the housing market is still totally on fire with bidding wars on a lot of houses that do hit the market. Rent rates are going up like crazy, and mortgage rates are still technically at all-time lows. In other news, new construction permits are surging in 11 markets across the U.S., with Houston, Texas seeing the most explosive growth with over 360,000 single-family residence permits pulled in the past 10 years. The National Association of Realtors is who reported on this update this past week. They highlighted that home building has ramped up significantly over the last decade, but it has really accelerated during the pandemic. And if you're not familiar with the permit process, a permit is something that a builder or a contractor is required to pull from the city in order to get approval to build a house or a tract of houses. A builder will usually apply apply for a permit after an architect drafts up a bunch of plans that are ready to be submitted to the city, and it usually takes anywhere from 6 months to 2 years for that house to actually be built once the permit is pulled. And the fact that it takes so long from when you apply for a permit to when your house is actually built is why this is a pretty good indicator for what the next few years of new construction will look like. And apparently if you live in Houston, Dallas, Atlanta, Phoenix, or any of these other markets where permit growth is surging, then you're basically sure to see a spike in construction all around where you live, and this report is saying that there's no sign of that slowing down. Now, honing in on New York, the real estate market in Manhattan has been on fire, with more apartments sold in the third quarter of this year than any other quarter in the past 30 years. This is refreshing news for the real estate recovery in New York, because it wasn't all that long ago that there was this mass exodus out of New York, because at that time it was kind of the epicenter of the pandemic. The best quarter as far as number of sales that Manhattan has ever seen was in summer of 2007, where they had 3,900 transactions, but Q3 of this year beat that by far with 4,500 homes sold. And if Q3 wasn't strong enough, The Real Deal reported this past week that Manhattan's luxury market saw the best volume week that it's had since 2013, with 484 million apartments having gone under contract. The most expensive apartment to go under contract is this penthouse H unit at 443 Greenwich, this located in North Tribeca. This place has 8,900 square feet inside, with another several thousand square feet of terrace space. It has 6 bedrooms, 8 bathrooms, 20-foot ceilings, a 2-car garage, and a swimming pool. Nick Gavin had the listing, and it's no surprise that we see him celebrating it going under contract on his Instagram account, because he stands to make over $1 million of commissions on this single deal if it closes. And in the most humbling news of the week, this 25-year-old Sahil Mehta was featured on CNBC this week with some real estate investing advice for us. Now, I bought my first house at 25, so this article definitely caught my attention, thinking, hey, that's cool, here's another young guy getting into the real estate game at a young age. Well, I was horribly mistaken, because Sahil has one-upped me and probably most of us, because he earned his first real estate commission at the age of 18, and now he co-owns 5 investment properties with his older brother, worth a total of $9.4 million. This kid is making $550,000 per year now from his rental properties, plus his job at Sotheby's and other real estate investments. Funny, by the way, that I'm calling a 25-year-old a kid. I guess that means that I'm officially old. Anyways, I really like this story. Sahil has been working hard since a really young age. He's always had an entrepreneurial spirit, and he did not come from money. He said his parents lost almost everything in the crash of 2008, which taught him a lot about managing money and risk. And now he's making $25,000 per month from his rental properties alone, which he does split with his brother. He says that they rent 4 of their properties out to college students, and then the last one they rent out as an Airbnb. I would have kind of liked to see that he was renting these properties out as long-term rentals with more traditional tenants, because doing the student housing thing or the Airbnb thing is not a very steady stream of income. It's all over the place as far as how much money you're actually bringing in every month, plus it's a very high maintenance, high expense way to rent your properties. It's cool though that he's able to rent these properties out this way at a younger age, when he's able to expose himself to a little bit more risk, because he will cash flow more this way for sure. Sahil gives us 4 tips for those of us who are looking into getting into real estate investing, and those are: pick a lane, do the math, be unconventional, and play it cool. Playing it cool is definitely a good practice when you're in the real estate business. I mean, I know I personally look at dozens of deals per week, and you need to be disciplined enough to know that 99% of those deals are not going to be a good fit for you, and you need to be able to pass on them and leave emotion out of it. There is never a dull moment in the real estate market lately, and I don't expect that to change for a while. I know in my circle I have a lot of friends and family who have seen a lot of appreciation in their homes over this past year, but they don't want to sell because they're going to be stuck just looking for another overpriced home. And then there's others who are shopping for homes right now, but they've just been unfortunately priced out, because even though interest rates are super low, the prices have just gotten too high. Nobody has a crystal ball as to what the future holds in the market, but my best guess is that we're going to see things stay strong in the real estate market for the foreseeable future due to the supply and demand issues. If you enjoyed the video today, guys, if you can give me a thumbs up down below, that would really help to support my channel. And let me know in the comments if there's any specific types of headlines that you'd like to see me cover in future videos, because there are literally dozens to choose from every week. And one last reminder to hit subscribe as well if you're not already a subscriber, because according to my analytics, analytics, only like 25% of you guys who watch these videos are actually subscribers. But that's all I've got for you guys this time. So until next time, see ya.